Good morning. Hello. Hi. Hey. How you doing? Hey there. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Who we got up in here this morning? We got Cousin Tracy, Chatty Jen, Kimmikins, Frankie Hopkins, Angie B, Busy B, Kim Maple, Catalin, Cotton Candy Boobs, Thurzilla, sending good karma, Shooby Mom, Shooby Dooby, Stacy B, Frankie Hopkins, Mama Buzz, Betsy Leak. Good to see y'all. Oh, hope you all are having a great weekend. Got the coffee. We got a big day happening today. We're going to have a really big live on shares tonight. Some of you may not know about this, but Cecilia and Taylor, they began a relationship while Taylor was, well, he still is, incarcerated. And they're having a baby and they're married. And the big news is he's getting resentenced because in Washington, if you get life in prison, it's life. You're in there until you die. It's not like other places where it's like a 25-year thing. It's life. So he's getting resentenced. So I'm assuming that means that they're going to put an end date on his sentence. And I don't know if that is in relation to the events surrounding his incarceration, or if it's because of his behavior while in prison. He has really turned things around. He's doing a lot and he wants to help young, impressionable people who are going down the wrong path like he did. He doesn't want them to ruin their lives. So we're all very hopeful that he will get out. Ideally, I mean, if they would just convert a sentence to time served and release him, I mean, he can have his family and he can do what he's been wanting to do, which is help people. He's a good guy. We've talked to him a couple of times. Actually, we had him on a live stream, and I'm going to be playing some of that this morning just to give you guys a little bit of a background as to what kind of guy this guy is. And yeah, he's a really good person. He is in jail for murder. I forget the details surrounding, but basically this was a B&E gone wrong. Something like that, right?
I wasn't gonna say. 'Cause I wanted them to say. Cause yeah, we have to go back through everything. Morning, everyone. Cotton candy boobs. I don't know why our throats are still weird. Squids, Wandering Hearts, Frankie, everyone, Kim, cousins, beard.
The beard.
Yeah, I think it was something like a B&E gone wrong. But again, he was a teenager at the time. So he was arrested in 2006 and given life, no parole in Washington.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a rehabilitation center. So that's weird.
Yeah, there's no chance for rehabilitation if you can never breathe.
And
Yeah.
you think you're going to die there for real?
But even with that looming over him, a lot of people would just give up and just become awful people, whatever. But no, he went the opposite direction. He decided no matter what, where he's at, he's going to try to help people to not make the same mistakes he did. So maybe they've realized that, and hopefully they'll let him be a free man again. That's the hope anyway. So we'll see. They are going to be, him and Cecilia will be on Cher's Live tonight. So yeah, that's going to be a really good one. He's in the state of Washington. Yeah, not Washington, D.C., Washington State. And in Washington State, this is going to be loud for a second, sorry. Washington State, there is no, if it's life, it's life. It's not 25 years. It's for the rest of your natural life. Now, it's not to say that people who take the life of another don't deserve to be punished. They absolutely do. But there's always circumstances, right? This wasn't a planned murder. It was more done out of necessity, and there was more than one person there. And I'm pretty sure Taylor wasn't actually the one who committed the murder. He was just there. So, I mean, at what point is your entire life being gone a little excessive, right? Yes, Frankie, they are married and they are pregnant. They are having a baby. So, yeah, hopefully he can get out, raise his child, be a family, and do what he wants to do, which is help young people who are going down the wrong path. I really don't see how him being out would be anything but a positive on society. So yeah, we're going to get some information from them tonight. I don't know if there's anything we can do, like send letters or anything. I mean, if we can, we absolutely will. But we'll find out more tonight. Hey, Trillia Beach, Laura Pecor. So yeah, we're pretty excited. Like I said, we've had them on our streams. We've had Cecilia. Her channel name is Designed Conviction, and her husband had called in, and we were just chatting, and we had a lot of fun. And it's pretty plain to see that he's a good guy. I'd like to know how the victim's family feels. Sometimes they forgive, but sometimes no. Very true, Squids. Yeah. And I'm sure that will play a role in his resentencing too. They'll probably be allowed to give a victim impact statement or something like that. Loves you. Honey, what's his last name? Do you remember? His first name's Taylor, but I can't remember his last name. Oh, it should be in the title, actually. Conley. Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was like Connell or Connor. I knew it was started with a C. Yeah, look it up, read on it. It was a long time ago, and I don't think it got a lot of publicity. But it was basically a break and enter. Someone was home. There was a scuffle, and someone ended up dead. But like I said, Taylor wasn't the one who did the killing. He was just there. So, I mean, you guys are welcome to say if you think that someone who's involved in a murder, it was a murder, if someone's involved in a murder, they should never breathe free air again. I mean, that's absolutely your right to express your opinion. No judgment. I just personally don't think that should be the case.
See, that's exactly why I wasn't going to mention that, because not what happened. It's a very long story. There was multiple people there.
Mm-hmm.
And for Taylor
Stepping on
to
a
have
spiker.
the rights to be able to come out, talk, give interviews from behind prison, you don't hear about that. Rhonda got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
So he's the first to say he made his choices. When you're a teenager and you don't have proper parenting and guidance or structure, you get mixed up into the wrong groups.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and that's exactly what he wants to work on, is work with kids who've gotten into the wrong groups and are on the wrong path.
yeah, it wasn't Taylor who did that. In fact, one of the co-defendants even says it wasn't Taylor, which is why he's able to possibly get this resentencing.
Yeah, hopefully.
But you got one of the co-defendants saying Taylor didn't do this. Why would this guy say that? It wasn't true. He's more worried about saving Taylor than his own self. Doesn't usually happen.
I'm looking stoic and pensive. Alrighty. So, Anonymous, there is a small chance that instead of selling my bike, I'm going to be getting another M109R. There's a guy here in town who wants to trade, and no one wants to buy this, so I'm thinking I might do this. He says trade, but I don't understand. Like, he should be asking for more money on top of the trade. We'll see how that works, but yeah, it's a beautiful bike too. It's got a big front fairing, like a batwing fairing on it. I'm not crazy about the color. It's blue with a white stripe, but it's still a nice looking bike. And it's one that Cher would like to ride on. She doesn't like the crotch rockets, so we can take it, ride it for a season, and then try and sell it maybe. He might. Maybe he knows that, maybe he knows my channel. He's just not saying. But I think he is where I was. I was sick of that cruiser because it was so loud, and I wanted something with a little bit more adrenaline packed in. So I actually traded the exact same bike for the sport bike I have now, which is kind of funny. Same year bike. And now he wants to do the same thing. So yeah, we shall see what happens with that. On the upside, if we do get that cruiser, we'll do some road trips and we'll bring you all along. It's a 2007. Same as the bike I have now and the bike that I traded before. So it's kind of funny because those bikes are super rare too. Like, they aren't popular like Harleys. His is the only one I've ever seen around town. I haven't flown my drone in God knows how long. Remember I had that little one? Took it out here. This little FPV guy. Last time I flew it, it worked. I charged up the batteries and tried to fly it the other day, and it won't fly. I don't know what the hell happened with it.
Wasn't me.
No, it was sitting in a closet. I think one of the motors seized or something.
I think when Kimmy bought a boom, the camera broke. She also broke the drone.
Maybe. The battery, yeah. That's the one that the batteries took forever because they're so dangerous.
Like, totally off topic, guys. But I am convinced that Kimmy girl, I am convinced that she fucking put a curse on me. Remember when she came in Or actually, I went into her live. I don't even know if a lot of you guys went in there, and I was just trolling her. I was being nice though. I was trolling her kindly, and it was still pissing her off. I was like, "I love you, Kimmy," like kissy face emojis, but it just pissed her off that I was there. I literally killed her with kindness. So then she played this song. I don't even remember which one, and she was like doing some weird voodoo shit. And it was the next morning. I woke up with that damn 3-day nasty headache. Yeah, we had COVID, but Kimmy bada boomed. The camera broke that day. And then she cursed me and even said she was cursing me. And the next day I had a headache for 3 fucking days. I think she's a witch. A bad one.
Get a DJI Mini and mine cruised around 350 feet last night till a helicopter came too close. Ooh. I have a DJI Mavic Air. I bought that, I don't know, 4 years ago. 3 or 4. And I haven't flown it in over a year. So I always plan to use it, so I don't want to sell it, but it just never happens. It'll be handy to have if I actually get off my ass and start filming documentaries. So, yeah, I think I'm going to look up. Of course, I got to sign out and sign back in as me. So I'm going to play a little bit of the live we did with Cecilia and Taylor, just so you can get to know them a little bit. Oh, I did my password wrong. How did I do that? Okay. Can we play Name That Tune? Yeah, the Mavic Air 2 is a good drone. But all right, let's have a little listen at this for a few minutes so you can get to know Taylor a little bit before the live stream tonight. And here we go.
Do you want to say much about Taylor's?
I actually have him here. You just go.
Is he okay?
Hey, Taylor, you're live.
Hello. Hi.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you. So is this Cher and Mr. Cher?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, it is. Mr. Cecilia.
What I've heard.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem, man. It's my pleasure. Thanks for making it happen.
Oh yeah. Any more awareness and stuff we can do? It's nothing but good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thank you.
What do you feel comfortable talking about your case, Taylor? Oh, really, Randy?
Talking about my case, is what you said?
Yes.
Are you comfortable talking at? You don't have to. If you're whatever you're comfortable talking about, you're welcome to.
It just depends on what you want to talk about. I got appeals that are in process right now. I have a active appeal going in Washington State in the Court of Appeals, and right now I'm waiting on them the prosecutor to respond. Actually, I filed this appeal like, I don't know, over 4 months ago, And I actually had a really, I was kind of stressed out about it the other day because I just got this thing in the mail, and they basically said that the prosecutor is under the sanctions right now because they didn't file a response to my brief that I filed in court. But I thought it was actually for me, because the way that it was addressed, I thought that the thing was going to me. Like, I didn't get the reply that they had given. I had like 2 days to file this thing, but it was actually for the prosecutor. So, yeah.
Very stressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite stressful for me, but we got it. Cecilia did it. You know, she got right on the phone and called up the Court of Appeals clerk and got it straightened out for me and figured out that it was actually the prosecutor. But you know, I'm willing to talk about whatever. You can ask questions. I'm willing to talk about whatever I can.
Well, one thing that I've learned a little bit about you, but one thing that really sticks with me is what motivates you to keep doing positive things and being a positive person while you're in such a negative place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. You know, the biggest thing for me was finding a purpose just to live in general. You know, with everything that happened and getting this sentence of life without parole, and I'm convicted wrongfully. Like, I didn't do what I'm convicted of. So it took me years and years to really get past just that part of it, and to be able to not just be devastated by it. You know, I went through a lot of appeals, and in the beginning, of which I had like court-appointed attorneys and things like that didn't even address the real issues that I have that I have been able to file on now. You know, and so I went through a period of, you know, like 6 or 7 years of just not really caring too much, getting in trouble. And then it was being able to find something that I was passionate about and cared about, like artwork. I would say that artwork really, like getting into that was something that changed my life around. And then meeting Cecilia, which brought like love into my life. It brought something that somebody really cared about me in the way that she does. And then finding a purpose to really be able to use, you know, my story in a positive way, regardless of how negative the situation is. Through different programs that I've been involved with, I've been able to use my story to impact people in a positive way. And that right there gives me like a meaning in life, a purpose. And, you know, it keeps me going every day. Like, I get up and I do some different classes, and I do, you know, just different activities, and just being a positive presence amongst such a negative atmosphere, and impacting people. Like, people look at my situation and everything, they're like, man, if this guy can turn something good out of this, then, you know, maybe I can too. And I've heard numerous stories of people, you know, being impacted like that. I've gotten a lot of feedback like that. So that really keeps me going, and it really keeps me pushing towards doing something, because I just want to do something with my life, regardless of what happens, what the outcome is. I want to do something that means something. You know, I want to not rot away here in prison forever and not do anything with myself, because I've seen a lot of people do that. I've seen people that are just giving up on themselves and not try to spark a light in there. But, you know, it's not always easy. But I know that through doing that, and then just having Cecilia there, that somebody that loves me, I've been able to recreate, build back relationships with family members that I had fallen out with, or I had, you know, burnt bridges of people, and different friendships that I've been able to forge new friendships, as well as, you know, build back some old ones that had really got tarnished.
Well, that's great, man. I just love hearing you talk like that. 'Cause, yeah, like I've obviously never been in a prison or anything like that. So when I envision what it's like, I can't see how someone can actually be like a beacon of hope inside there. It boggles my mind. But there you are doing it. So I mean, that's just awesome, man.
Thank you, man. You know, it's not easy. Like a lot of times, things can weigh you down, and it gets magnified too because you're kind of like isolated away from the world, and you're surrounded by a lot of people that are really. It's easy to fall into negativity. It's easy to fall into. It's easy to get in trouble and get set back. There's like one wrong step, man, and it's over. Like everything comes crashing down, and it's really hard to build back up. So, you know, it's a challenge every day, man. Every day it's a challenge. But I tell you what really, really helps me to keep going is like hearing from people like you that have heard a little bit about my story and that I'm talking to you and you see that, you know, and like I give Cecilia a lot of credit because she's really my solid rock. Even when I'm feeling down or if I'm, you know, going through some things, she's always there for me. She always has my back. And, you know, I think that's important if more people that were incarcerated had support and had love in their life and had something positive to look forward to, something to hope for one day, then, you know, maybe that would help change their lives as well. So I encourage anybody to like just reach out and support somebody that's incarcerated, whether it's just, you know, writing a letter or corresponding in some way, or even just they have some type of a page out there or something like that. Just even supporting that, like, can go the longest of ways to people when they have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot easier to do nothing when you're in prison than to actually do positive things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easier to do nothing because, you know, it's like a weight. It's like the weight of the world is on top of you, like, and you have, I don't know, just a constant, like I said, like a negative force around you. So it's easy just to not really do anything and just slide through. And I guess a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. But I've noticed
my dad's one of those people. He'd rather be in prison being lazy and doing nothing than to actually make something of his life like you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to, like I said, I'm trying to not just do something for me, but I felt, and I've been feeling more and more like doing stuff for other people really brings me some type of fulfilledness. Like it makes me feel like I got a purpose. Like if I'm bringing some type of positivity or some type of something good into somebody's life that they never experienced before, they never had an opportunity, like creating opportunities for people that never had an opportunity for something. You know, that, and not even just in here, like through what we've been doing with the Design Conviction and the magazine and you know, all the things that we've been doing with the podcast and everything, we've created some opportunities and supported a lot of people that were in prison and got out and have been struggling. So it's like being able to do that is, you know, especially from in here when the resources are really limited, it's a great feeling. It's something that I get up every day and I look forward to what can I accomplish today? You know, what can I do? I try to keep a plan and keep moving forward because I'm a big believer in momentum. Like once you get momentum with something, if you stop, then you just start going backwards. Because momentum, like in life, I feel like is ever moving, whether you're moving forward or backwards. So you got to want one or the other. You're not just going to stay still because then you're going to start going backwards.
You're wise beyond your years, man.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said you are wise beyond your years. That's very profound. I love that.
Yeah.
Cecilia, can you see the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Convicted Hearts, and I think I saw Ebony in there.
Ebony Morris, yeah.
Hey.
Yes, a lot of support, maybe. Uh-huh. Keep fighting the good fight, but
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, I'd like to know a little bit more about what your guys' platform's all about.
Okay, well, mine is it's chaos. It's it was mostly motorcycle stuff. Yeah, right. So yeah, there you get a little bit of a glimpse of what he's like, and yeah, just listening to him talk and how passionate and driven he is about doing something positive with his life. It just doesn't seem to me like a person who should stay in prison for the rest of his life. It just doesn't. Now, all opinions are welcome, obviously. While he doesn't, like he said, he wasn't the one who did it, but he was there when it happened. And that's the way the law works. If you witness it and you don't do anything about it, you're as guilty as the person who actually did it. I don't really agree with that either. I mean, should he have gotten some time for what he did? Yes, absolutely he should have. But the rest of his life, I don't agree with that. He's been in prison since 2006, so 12 years. No, I didn't do that right. 16 years. I can't math today. No, it's not 26. Okay, let's do the math. 2022 minus 2006. 16 years. 16 years. Yes. I love you. I'm not sure when this resentencing thing is happening. I believe it's soon. But yeah, we'll find out more about that tonight on Cher's channel. Pedophiles get less time, true. And up here in Canada, if you murder somebody, you're probably only going to serve 10 years, depending on the circumstances of the crime. It's very, very different there. Time served would be the optimal scenario. I don't know, but hopefully. I mean, he's married, he's got a baby on the way, and he's obviously, like you heard, when he started out, he was struggling and was negative and just trying to deal with the fact that this is going to be his life forever. But he still, even under all of that, decided to turn things around and start being a positive member of that prison and helping people. That says rehabilitated to me. And even there were even some of the defendants said that he wasn't the one who did it. So the fact that he got life was, I don't think that was correct. I don't know which one he's in, Wandering Hearts. He's in Washington State, though. Yeah, he was just a kid. He was like, well, if he's 34 now. Oh my God, I can't math today. Yeah, he would have been somewhere around 18 when this happened. So he was young. He was an adult, but he was young.
He's 36 now. He was 16 when he was arrested.
Well, that doesn't math. Because he's been in there 16 years. So
yes.
If he's 36 now, he was 20 when it happened.
Oh, he was a teenager.
Either way, he was young.
tune in tonight and ask.
Yep. Yeah, we'll find out all that information tonight. It's okay, baby. They'll find, yeah.
You're also not getting it correct.
Well, I don't know. That's why I was asking.
I just wrote it in there. Like, he was arrested in 2006. He is 36 right now.
So he was 20 when he was arrested.
And then that does not match being a teenager.
That's what I'm saying. So if he's not 36.
He is 36. I literally just got that from Cecilia right now.
Okay. I don't know why you're so hung up on a couple of years. Okay, so he was 20 when this happened then, or 19, depending on when his birthday is.
I feel like that's not what we were told before.
I don't know. I don't remember, honey.
Could have sworn it was a situation where it was a group of teenagers. Now I'm all confused. But we also haven't talked to him in a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been so long. So we no, this isn't Brendan Dassey. No, this is Taylor Conley. Yeah, we'll give you all the information on Cher's tonight, but basically this guy was present, participated in a B&E, and someone ended up being killed. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
We are live on Mr. Cher's channel right now with a few people listening.
Hey, Cecilia.
Hi.
And we're getting all of the math wrong. So can you give us a quick rundown so people can be prepared for tonight about what happened with Taylor? How old was he when he got arrested? What exactly went down?
So he was 20 years old, and he got to his petition. He was going through really bad times because he was experiencing PhD, drugs or whatever, dealing with the grown people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the crime happened. There were two people. One of them was Taylor, and they were robbing a drug dealer. So it was a robbery in a house. And Taylor can give you more details about exactly what happened, but basically the drug dealer ended up being killed. For his case, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling you that she should not be in prison, but considering the fact of his case, he should not be serving life without parole.
Right.
I mean, here in Washington State, life without parole is for serial killers or people that do like really horrendous things. He was in drugs, but everybody in the scene were in drugs. So, and he was so young. He can tell you more about it, but it's basically what happened. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we were trying to, we couldn't really remember all the details because it's been like a year and a half, I think, since we talked to him. And so it was a drug dealer that died.
The victim is a drug dealer. Yes.
And
so and it was a 40-something-year-old dealer. Taylor, of course, when you got trial, they protect the victim. They basically didn't mention that fact. But I've spoken to some of his friends, Taylor's friends, and they say that he was a drug dealer that basically used to deal and sell drugs to like people like Taylor, like younger than 21 or something. So he was definitely involved in the other drama with drugs related on his city. The other guy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Do you have any other questions while we have her on here?
No, I think we'll just go through everything tonight.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to talking to Taylor again.
Yeah.
He's really looking forward to talking to you guys too.
Right on.
Okay, thanks for answering, and we will be talking in a few hours.
Okay, awesome. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit more helpful.
So yeah, we got that cleared up. He was 20 when this went down. 36 now. Been in jail for 16 years. So yeah, it's one of those things where you're there with a couple of people and something horrible happens, and yeah.
Yeah, and like you heard Cecilia say, like he should have gotten in trouble. Taylor will tell you that. He made wrong choices.
Mm-hmm. He admits that.
He was there. Yeah, he says he was hanging with the wrong people, doing the wrong things, making the wrong choices. But should he get life without parole? I don't think so. Even hearing
Mhm.
that now, I don't think so. I was kind of questioning it. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, first degree murder is you intend and plan to take someone's life. That is your goal of what you're trying to do. Breaking into a house and being surprised that the person is there and him ending up dead, that's not first degree. It's just not.
Was it also like defensive? Was that drug dealer armed?
Well,
or
probably
trying to fight them? Yeah,
that's
right?
irrelevant
Drug
at that
dealer.
point because they broke in.
They
So
broke in, yeah, but
they're the aggressor. But at
Kyle
most,
Rittenhouse, you'd get free.
at most, it should have been second degree because it was an intentional homicide, but it was not planned. It was not premeditated. So it should not have been first degree. So he should not have gotten life. I'm hoping that that's why they're going to resentence him because they realized this. But
Yeah, and he has done a lot of good from behind bars.
yeah, and hopefully that plays a role as well.
For him to get these special privileges to do live interviews and stuff on podcasts, he's obviously a good.
There she is,
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Good vibes. Yeah, we're really hoping. Like before we actually talked with Taylor, if you go back and watch our lives before that, we had talked to Cecilia, and I have a little bit more of an aggressive stance. Like if you willingly take someone's life, you need to pay. But once I heard the circumstances surrounding what happened, I just can't get behind the fact that he should have to give up his entire life because of that. It just does not make sense. Now, there are people who, I mean, if you were to make a different scenario that someone was planning to kill this guy, broke into his house, murdered him, and then stole his stuff, yeah, that's different. Like, remove the fact that he's a drug dealer, say he's a priest, and for whatever reason, this guy's targeted, someone comes in his house, murders him, and then robs him. That's different. But I think I can't remember who was saying in the chat, they had a similar thing. Family member was in with a bad crowd. Pretty much the same thing happened. The person didn't die though, and they're free. They have a family and everything. So, yeah, it's it's a touchy subject because a lot of people have a very passionate stance about murder.
I
and
want to
everything,
bring up Kyle Rittenhouse because he got away with it because he defended himself, right? But you still went into the middle of a riot with loaded weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and you only do that if you clearly there was a plan for something. He did so again. That's not fair, and all because I think he was a teenager, but even still, it's fucked up. Why can't the justice system be the same everywhere?
That's true. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm sure all of you know who that is, but during the riots down in the States, he was one of the people who went in there armed to protect the property or whatever and ended up killing two people.
Yeah.
Two people and wounding a third, or killing one and wounding another two. I can't remember, but we've all seen that video. He was attacked and then he got up and fired his weapon on the attacker. So it was self-defense, but he went into an area that's in turmoil with a loaded weapon. So there should have been some responsibility there, I think. I don't think he should have been convicted of murder, but I think there definitely should have been some charges there because that's not really okay. Yeah, pedos are in and out of prison all the time. Yeah. Like it should rely on the circumstances. I don't think that most people who commit murder, I mean, whether it's like in the heat of passion kind of thing or an accident or whatever, it should not be the rest of their life. There was I can't remember where this happened, but there was a trucker whose brakes failed or something. And there was no runaway or anything. There was not much he could do. And he ended up killing, I don't know how many people. It was a few because he just couldn't stop. And wherever he was, because of mandatory minimum sentencing, he got, I think, 75 years. Like he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And the judge even said, I'm so sorry that this isn't fair, but my hands are tied. I have to give this sentence. And yeah. I can't remember where that was, but that's pretty sad. We rely on the government and laws to protect us and to, take dangerous people away from us to keep us safe. But there are lots of times, too many, where it's not justice. It's overkill. But yeah, that's just my thinking. I definitely don't judge people who think that, no, you take someone's life, you should lose yours. End the story. I know people who think that way. And I can't fault them. In small in Texas, there is capital murder and can be the death penalty. One situation is killing someone in the commission of another felony, and can also apply to ones who don't do the killing involved in the crime. Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of the situation here because it was a felony break and enter, and the homeowner ended up being killed. So there was 2 felonies, and that's why Taylor got life. But he wasn't the one who did the killing, and that wasn't a plan to do it. So yeah, I don't think the punishment, like just because you're present and you don't call the police and turn your friends in or whatever, I don't think that should make you as culpable as the person who actually did it. Why are the judge's hands tied? Well, apparently it's because of that. Like, I'm not saying the judge's hands were tied in this case. That was a different case I was talking about, that trucker. But yeah, mandatory minimum. So for each life he took, it was a minimum sentence of, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. So it ended up being like he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. Unless, like, the Supreme Court, it'll end up having to go to the Supreme Court, and maybe they'll overturn it given what's the circumstances of it. I really think the circumstances surrounding the crime should take more of a role as far as the sentence. There was a couple of boys. I can't remember the name. There was a documentary on Netflix. This happened in Canada, where these 2 boys were convicted of killing an entire family. There was the mother, the father, and I want to say two other children. One of the 2 convicted was actually a member of that family. Now, what happened was horrible, and a lot of people do think that they're innocent because they're the only evidence of them being involved was this weird thing that it's legal to do in Canada, not in the States. It's called the Mr. Big, where you'll have these badass guys approach the suspects and pretend to be like really cool gangbangers or whatever, and they want to bring them into this fold and take care of them. Like they really sell it like this is going to be a cool life for you, and given what we've heard about you, we think you're a good fit, blah 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 blah. And these were kids, so it's conceivable that they made up the fact that they did this to kind of look cool and be accepted into this fold. But in Canada, that can be used as evidence, and that's what happened. But all that was to say that the sentence that the judge handed out, the defendants were allowed to give a statement on whatever, like their thoughts on what had happened and should they be convicted and blah blah blah. And both of them made their statements, and the judge, the one guy was very he was an asshole. Like he was very argumentative and basically angry that he was convicted, and did not seem sympathetic at all about what happened. And the judge just laid into him and gave him his sentence, which was severe. But then the other one, who was a member of the family, he was very apologetic, very sad, very broken, and you could tell that this was really bothering him. And the judge basically sympathized with him and yada yada yada. Well, not really sympathize, but didn't have as stern of a rebuttal to him as they did with the first guy. Gave him the same sentence. So the judge had his mind made up. No matter what those kids said, they were going to get the same sentence. I don't like that. Like, it seems like that was just put on for show to make it look like the judge would consider how you're feeling about the whole thing, and that would have some kind of impact on your sentence. It doesn't. He could have got up and said, if you let me out, I'm going to kill again, or got up and said nothing at all. He would have got the exact same sentence no matter what. So basically that was pointless. That was just a show. I don't like that at all. So there are major, major, major flaws with the court system. One big one being the circumstances surrounding the crime aren't taken into consideration. And they should be. They need to be. Because not all crimes are the exact same. Like if you have, for example, if you have a 40-year-old man go and forcefully kiss a 40-year-old woman and shove his hand down her pants and stuff like that, that's bad. But if you take that same 40-year-old man and he does that to a 5-year-old, shouldn't he get more time? Because it's not the same. I mean, the crime is the exact same, but the circumstances are different. So shouldn't that play a role? And in a lot of cases, it doesn't, and it should. Not say it never does, but in a lot of cases, it doesn't. No more protecting the victim no matter what, like victims against a child molester. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other major problem is we see this with lots of cases, but the big one is Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery, is even when it's so obvious that they didn't do this, when there's just a mountain of evidence proving that they're innocent, they still fight like hell to keep them in there. Like I think there was 3 times Brandon was going to be released. It was in the works, and the governor stopped it. He didn't have to do that. He wasn't duty bound. He didn't have to do that. But it's just this mentality. Like, once they're convicted, that's it. That's what the ruling is. So it doesn't matter what evidence comes in after the fact, what happens after. It does not change that. And I disagree with that. The only times it seems where there's even like a chance for people who've been put in prison wrongfully is with DNA. When DNA proves conclusively that someone else did it. And even then, it takes a long time. They don't want to spend any money on that. Yeah. And that's the other thing, is it costs a lot of money to keep taking this to court and keep saying no. And so they're okay with, like, once there's a conviction, it's just they do everything they possibly can. They'll spend as much money as they can. Doesn't matter. They will fight it no matter what, even when they know that they're wrong, which is sickening. You believe, see, there's a difference of opinion right there. That example I gave of a 40-year-old versus a 40-year-old and 40-year-old versus a 5-year-old, she thinks same crime. I don't. I think someone who's willing to do that to a child is far more mentally disturbed than someone who does it to another person their own age. I agree. It takes public pressure. I really like that you guys are aiming to bring this to more folks so they can hear the facts and judge for themselves. There you go, Squids. Yeah. Oh, Cat Angel, welcome to the team. Thanks for joining. Oh. So, yeah. Tonight on Shares, we're going to be having a sit down with Cecilia, Designed Conviction, and her husband, Taylor Conley. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it because I actually see him as a good person. I don't see him as a convicted murderer. And the whole concept of prison is rehabilitation. So if someone is rehabilitated, like Taylor, that means that the sentence worked, right? So why should he still have to stay there? I don't think he should be in jail anymore. It wasn't first-degree murder. This wasn't a plan. This wasn't anything like that. He wasn't the one who committed the crime. He committed the break and enter, but he wasn't the one who committed the murder. So I don't think guilt by association should equal you lose your entire life. I mean, I just don't. Like, if you're hanging out with a friend and they're, disturbed or whatever, and they off somebody and you don't immediately turn them in, you're as guilty as they are in the eyes of the law. I don't think that's right. I mean, if you help cover it up and stuff, and don't call it in, don't turn on your friend or whatever, you should get punished, but not to that extreme. At least that's just my thoughts. And it just makes me wonder, like, how many kids out there, 18 years old, 20 years old, Like still a kid, pretty much. I mean, you're technically an adult, but you're still finding your way in the world. You get palling around with the wrong people, caught up in a different life, and something horrible happens. And that's it. You're done. That's the end of your life. I don't know. There's just something horribly sad about that. Like so many people, like all it takes is just one event to turn their life around.
And if he was arrested at 20, doing hardcore drugs for who knows how many years, his mindset was probably still very young.
Mhm.
20-year-old, but he's not doing the drugs, which is easier to be a shithead and keep on the drugs when you're a lifer in prison.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting waffles and bacon.
You can kill and walk free in this country. Well, you can anywhere, but it just depends. Off to deal with Farmer's Day. Children get apples. For me, no candy. I will save them from the evil dentist. Do my part. Have a blessed day. All right, Zena, thanks for hanging. Where can I find the old case of Greg Ott? Interesting. He's from my hometown. Even my dad, who was pro-harsh punishment, thought his punishment was harsh. Yeah, there are definitely times when the punishment does not fit the crime. I remember hearing about this guy found out his girlfriend, I think it was his girlfriend, I don't think it was his wife, it was his girlfriend, was cheating on him. So he went over to that guy's place, kicked in the door, punched the guy once, and knocked him out cold. He got 25 years. 25 years for breaking into his house and punching the guy once. The guy that was screwing his girlfriend. Now, I've gotten in really heated arguments with people who think that that's just. I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you ever been cheated on? It fucking hurts and it pisses you off. It's a like the ultimate betrayal. And you go over there and you punch the guy who's doing it one time. Like, I don't see 25 years. You should get time for the break and enter, time for assault. Sure. But he got the max for both. He got the maximum for breaking and entering and the maximum for assault. He ended up getting 25 years. Emmett Till case. That sounds familiar. Most folks couldn't survive prison for 1 year, let alone 25. Yeah. Oh, it's been a long time since I did a live on Stephen Avery, Karina. I do want to do more, but I mean, the problem with that case is it infuriates me. Like Stephen Avery, he basically has lost his entire life. First, wrongfully convicted of rape, and it's obvious corruption there. And he gets out and he sues, and bam, he's right back in. I don't know how long he was out of prison. It was only a couple of years, I think. If that. I think it was 2003 he was released, and 2005 he went back in. And then Brendan, who is like, he's learning disabled. He was just a kid. He was 16. And he got convicted of something that he didn't do. It's obvious he didn't do it. And the way law enforcement describes this murder taking place of Teresa Hallbach, there is no evidence to support it. It makes no sense at all. And yet they were convicted. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sure that the jurors were bribed. I am 100% sure. They spent, a few $100,000 bribing 12 people to get out of paying, I think it was $30 million was the lawsuit Stephen Avery had. That guy's the reason I will never move to Wisconsin. Hopefully that's the right state. I think it was Wisconsin, Manitowoc County. But yeah, that case, it pisses me off. Every time I watch it, like I'm in a bad mood for days after, because it's just, I am so mad. That kid, a learning disabled kid, he got an IQ of what, 80? And he's still in there. Been in there since he was 16. He's in his 30s now. Like, I forget how many years he got for it, but it's a ridiculous number. He'll be, I think, in his 60s when he gets out. All of his family, like his parents and everything, everybody's going to be dead. He's going to have nothing when he gets out. It's just, it's heartbreaking. Candy Montgomery. When Cher was working on one too, Rhonda something, Goldman or Glover. I think it was Rhonda Glover. That's where she started with that, I think, when she first started her YouTube channel. But yeah, there are so many where like Taylor's case, where the punishment is, it does not match the crime. It is major overkill. And then there are people who are innocent convicted, and it really makes you wonder how often that happens. Like, we don't see the court proceedings of all these cases. There's very, very few we actually see anything on. And that's just because we as society don't want to see it. We want to see a couple of actors bickering about, did he smack me? Did he not? Like, how many people were totally invested in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing? I gotta admit, I was too. I didn't watch a lot of it, kind of just watched some highlights, but yeah, that's what we want to see. These are people that we look up to and admire, so we want to get a glimpse of their lives. Meanwhile, there's children being abducted and husbands killing their wives, and God, government officials literally being caught doing ethical violations and stealing money and everything and not getting punished for it. Trudeau. And we don't care. We just turn a blind eye to all that. It's like, But yeah, it's just so weird. Hey, Running Fox. How goes the COVID recovery? Yeah, we're doing better. I'm pretty much, I want to say I'm about 90% now. I still get pretty beat by the end of the day. But, I'm breathing fine. I don't feel congested or anything. Cher still is, she's better, but she still has a little bit of issue with smell and taste. It's coming back though. But for a few days, all she could smell was like burning toast. Good one, Mark. I caught that. Yeah. Our prime minister is literally a criminal. Convicted criminal. He was convicted, but nothing happened. The exhaustion is horrible to get over. I think that's where actually it's weird, but the fact that I have MS gave me a leg up on that because I'm used to getting exhausted because of MS. So I'm used to fighting through it. So I think that's why, like, there was one day last week, was it last week or the week before? I worked one day, and by the end of the day, like, I come home and Cher would tell you, I was just so locked up and sore. I was like whimpering, just moving around by the time I got home. Like, that was brutal. But most days it's just, I work 6-7 hours and I feel like I work 12. Like I'm beat, but yeah, I'm kind of used to it. With MS, you're never 100%. More people vaccinated get COVID than unvaccinated. Yeah. I mean, try and find like legit stats on that. Good luck, because things are so fudged. But it certainly does not seem to change who gets it and who doesn't, like at all. It's not a vaccine. Like, they shouldn't be calling it a vaccine. It's not. They say it lessens your symptoms if you get it. And honestly, I can't know if that's true or not. Nobody can. Like, how do you disprove that? Because some people get it and they die. Other people get it, they don't even know they have it. So how do you say? Are we back? My screen just went black, so I don't know how long I had to. I don't know how long I was out. Have to agree with that. I've had COVID twice, once without and once with 2 shots. About to get a booster. It lessens it a little. Well, I've seen lots of people who've had COVID more than once say the first time they were just wiped, but then the second time wasn't as bad. So I don't know. And that's people who were vaccinated, people who weren't. It seems, and that, I mean, that makes sense. Like, the way viruses work is they change, they mutate, they evolve, but as they evolve, they get weaker. So the COVID that's running around now is not as strong as the COVID that was running around when it first broke. Just like all other flus, just like H1N1, SARS, it's the same thing. That's the way viruses always work every time. They mutate and they get weaker. If a virus ever mutates and gets stronger, the entire planet will die. Doesn't matter what you do. Vaccinations, doesn't matter. If the virus actually gets stronger as it mutates, the whole planet will die. For me, it was opposite. First time was fine. Second was on my ass for a week and a half. Had 2 doses of Moderna before both times, but first may have been a false positive. Taylor's prison is in lockdown again? Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, we don't have any restrictions or lockdowns here now. And in fact, even if you're diagnosed with COVID, there's no mandatory 2-week isolation. That's all gone now. And nothing's changed. The hospitals even said they have more people getting COVID, but less people being admitted into the hospital for severe symptoms. So like we're coming out the end of it. And now they're trying to push this monkeypox thing, which is ridiculous.
Baby, do you want to show them my pet bird? I sent you a video.
Okay. We're going to be stopping this right away and having some lunch, but Cher took a video.
I've been feeding the bird outside leftovers. It's been taking our food and feeding its babies.
So I'm going to share that with you guys. Just a little something.
Because it's cute.
A little feel good. Though I don't really like birds, but she left out some soup that she made.
It's been taking all the noodles out of it.
Yeah. And you can see Matthias pop up right here. Boom.
Yeah. That's how I knew he was there. Matthias was laying on the table just watching for him.
But yeah, I'm smelling pancakes and bacon up here. So I'm gonna have to go. I'm getting hungry. But I want to say thank you. We had a new member join. I can't remember who it was, but thank you for joining the team. And to all of you for tuning in and watching. I love you. And we shall see you tonight on Shares. That's going to be a great one. You'll be able to interact with Taylor and ask him questions and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure that you don't miss that stream because it's going to be awesome. And then, of course, I'll most likely be doing another coffee live tomorrow morning. And who knows what we'll chat about. We'll just hang out and, yeah, talk about our days, whatever. But all right, y'all, I'm going to go eat, and we'll see you tonight. And until then, this is True Crime Productions with Prairie Boy 77, a.k.a. Prairie Boy 77, a.k.a. Mr. Cher, a.k.a. the Beard of Reason, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, saying good day, good night, and Godspeed.